Another piece of advice that I would say is to try and educate yourselves as much as you can. I think it's very easy, particularly when you're at school, whether it's secondary school or college, it's very easy to rely on what is being fed to you by teachers, and to listen to that, and of course as well you should. But I think there's definitely great advice to go off and do your own research as well, particularly if you're interested in a career that you don't really know a lot about. If you are interested in law, go out there and go and find out about law. Go and find out about the different ways that you can get into the industry. You know, I explained the way that I got into it, but that's definitely not the only way of doing so. There are solicitor apprenticeships at the moment that you can do once you've left school, where you kind of learn while you earn. So you're working in a law firm while doing part-time studying. There's something known as the solicitor's qualifying exams now as well, which is a different route. There are different ways of getting into different careers, and if there's something that you're serious about doing and it's something that you want to do, then you have to go out there and learn as much about it as you can. I mean, I don't have to tell your generation that everything's available on the internet these days, and you can find out anything about anything these days. And so with all of that available, I think it's best to put that to good use and go and find out about your industry and find out what it is that you need to know in order to get into it. What kind of skills would you need to learn? What kind of education would you need to learn? What grades would you need to get at university? Lots of different things, and it's all available out there. And as I said, it's very easy just to rely on things that you're told at school or at college. But if you go out there for yourself and go and find out more for yourself, then that puts you in an even stronger position. Another piece of advice I would say is to, I would say, embrace what makes you different and start working on it even from now, really. I think, particularly in the legal industry and as lawyers, where it's as a solicitor or a barrister, people have this image in their head of what makes a solicitor, what makes a barrister. And, you know, I think people have it in their heads that they're these really posh and well-spoken people, and they're a bit like robots, and that's all they live for or care about. It's just the law and nothing else. And I can tell you from my experience, that couldn't be further from the truth. And I'm not just speaking about myself as a future solicitor, but other solicitors that I know, who I class as friends, are some of the most very amazing people in very different ways, because they have other interests, and there's more to them than just being a good lawyer. You know, I have people that I know there are some solicitors out there who are brilliant photographers, and they have a passion and real love for photography, and that brings other skills into the job that helps them. I know some lawyers that are fantastic footballers, and that brings other skills that helps them become a better lawyer too. There's so much more. There is so much more out there other than just law or any particular career, and it's always best to try and embrace these other things that make you different, or some of your other interests, and try and broaden yourself out a little bit so you are a more well-rounded person. I can tell you from experience, I've seen so many people who are very good at the law, very book smart, and you know, very, very clever people. But if that's all there is to them, then it doesn't really put them very far. And I think it doesn't hurt at all. If you have something about you that makes you a little bit different, that makes you stand out from the crowd, you shouldn't shy away from it at all. Or don't, you know, try and hide it, embrace it. It's what makes you you, and it will put you in a brilliant position going forward. So I think it's something that you should use to your advantage, and it stands you out from the crowd. The legal industry in particular is a very, very competitive industry, even more so now than ever before. And you need something that will give you a bit of an edge, and makes you look a bit different to everyone else. And if you have something that you're interested in, or you have something that makes you different, then you should work on that and make it shine through even more so. I think the last piece of advice that I would give to you guys is, again, I think it probably sounds a bit cliche, but I think the only person you should really be competing with is yourself. There's a lot of things out there in the world, in this country and other countries throughout the whole world, that will stop you from doing things that you want to do, or will put up hurdles and barriers and make things difficult for you. That's just life, unfortunately. And on top of that, you will have people who are in the same race as you and will do various things that are different to you. I think the only person you should only really be competing with is yourself, because that is the most important person to you. You shouldn't watch what others are doing and try to mimic them or copy them or be overly concerned, because the second you start putting focus on other people, you take that focus away from yourself and you're not being the best possible you, if that makes sense. The more focus you put on yourself, the better you will be in the long run. If you watch others, or if you're concerned about what others do and you think you're not doing things right, we should follow what they're doing, that can only lead downhill. The more focus you put on yourself, the more focus you put on anything, the better it's going to turn out. You really put yourself. And if you put your focus on yourself, the better you're going to turn out. Anyone that, concentrates on others or is particularly worried about what other people are doing and taking the focus away from themselves, it only serves to disadvantage you. And that's something that you don't want to do in any walk of life, really. As I said, there's going to be hurdles out there regardless. Majority of people in this world go through hurdles. And you don't want to add any more hurdles to any other ones that you've got already. You want to try and make things as easy for yourself as possible. And the best way to do that is to concentrate on yourself and, stay in your lane, run your own race. I think that was the last piece of advice that I had. I probably didn't make myself very clear in any of those, but I hope that they did make a little bit of sense. And you guys were able to take at least something away from what I've said.
Thanks, Stefan. That's great. I'm writing some notes here. Stay in your lane. I like that. That was really good.